You know Santa, and Rudolph, and Frosty, and Scrooge. But do you recall the most terrifying holiday family of all? Gryla, the Giantess, and her Yuletide family. During Yule, Gryla, the fearsome, long-clawed, and hooved troll, comes down from the mountains in search of naughty children to eat. As she wanders through the town, she collects the awful children in her bag. If an unfortunate good child is to get in her way, she'll scoop them up as well. She isn't picky with her food. But don't worry too much. She can be bribed with other food or chased away by parents. When she has rounded up all the bad children, she returns to her home in the mountains. She boils the children in her cauldron and makes them into a nice stew for her family. Yes, this scary creature has a family. A big one, in fact. Her third husband, Lepaluli, is very lazy and clumsy. He does nothing but sit at home and eat her cooking. Her 13 adult sons, the Yule lads, have worked up quite an appetite leading up to the holiday. For the past 13 nights, each one of them has harassed the town in their own special way, pulling pranks, harassing people, and even leaving potatoes in bad children's shoes. The family pet, the Yule cat, doesn't eat the stew. Instead, the feline waits to eat those unfortunate children who didn't get new clothes for the holiday. Before we pull this legend apart and learn more about its history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange and unusual content. Also, I'd like to say thank you for all the love and support on my last video. Now, time for the historical context. The legend of Gryla is a Scandinavian legend from Norse mythology. Originally, Gryla was seen as the personification of the threat of winter, the darkness and snow taking over the land. She was believed to be able to control the landscape. This version of her was mentioned in stories during the 13th century, but it wasn't until the 1800s when she was associated with the winter holidays in Iceland. The first mention of Gryla associated with the winter holidays comes from the Poem of Gryla, which describes her 13 horrible children, the Yule lads. The Yule lads are the children of Gryla and her third husband, Lepaluli. Yes, third, because she killed the other two. Depending on the region and time period, the number of Yule lads and how they act can differ. In some stories, they are just nuisances. In others, they are vicious and will kill and eat disobedient children. Oh, how the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. For 13 nights leading up to Yule, one of the Yule lads will come down from the mountain and disrupt the town in their own special way. It all starts on December 12th with Sheepcoat Clod, who will sneak into the town and suck the milk from the sheep, and is known for having 2 peg legs. Next we have Gully Gawk, who hides in barns and steals the froth from the milk buckets. Then Stubby comes along to steal pans so that he can eat the crust left in them. As you can tell from the name, is known for being unusually short. On the 15th, Spoon Licker comes along and steals the wooden spoons in your house and licks them. He is known to be very tall and thin. December 16th brings around Pot Scraper, who eats leftovers from the pots and pans left out on the stove. Then the 17th brings Bowl Licker, who hides underneath people's beds and steals their askar, which is a plate used for all meals. The 18th brings Door Slammer, who is obviously the loudest because all he does is slam doors all night. The next night, Skyr Gobbler comes around, who is obsessed with the Icelandic yogurt Skyr. The 20th brings along Sausage Swiper, who, you guessed it, steals sausages. He hides in the rafters of the house. The 21st brings, in my opinion, the creepiest one, which is the Window Peeper, which all he does is just peep into people's windows. He doesn't do anything else. Doesn't steal anything, just looks at you. The 22nd brings the Door Sniffer, which he has an extremely long and large nose that he uses to sniff out lava bread. On the 23rd, Meat Hook comes along, who steals meat with his very own meat hook. And last but not least, on the 24th, the Candle Beggar comes along, who follows children and steals their candles to eat them. Obviously, this legend was made at a time where candles were made of fat instead of wax. He probably wouldn't want to eat the candles now. Anyway, those are the 13 Yule lads. During their pranks, they also leave gifts in shoes of the good children and potatoes in those of the bad children. Originally, the lads were depicted in different variations of black and brown rags. Then, in the 20th century, the American Christmas and Legend of Santa Claus swept across Europe. The lads were then changed to look more like jolly men. They basically all look like Santa Claus in different clothes now. In recent years, the National Museum of Iceland has tried to bring back the Yule lads to their original state before being Santified. They do this by having adults dress up as the original depictions of the Yule lads and entertain children who visit the museum. So I'm curious, which versions of the Yule lads do you think is better, the original or the Santified version? It is said that pets can resemble their owners. Well, this feline is definitely Gryla's pet. The Yule cat, like the rest of the family, eats children during the Yule holiday. But instead of preying on the bad children, this cat has a specific diet. The Yule cat eats the children that didn't receive new clothes for the holidays. I guess the rags somehow add flavor? This tale is similar to the German story of Frau Perchta, which is used to encourage women not to weave during the holidays. So next time you get socks for the holidays, you better be grateful. That is the legend of Gryla and her dysfunctional family. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all happy holidays. Oh, and please, be good for goodness sake.